three big pieces of news have just been confirmed by Elon Musk, and these are very important for Tesla stock investors, so make sure that you pay very close attention to this episode. One of them especially is critical for Tesla's future. Andrej Karpathy here, who used to be in charge of Tesla's FSD development until he left Tesla, said that Tesla's self-driving approach is much more scalable. He adds that Tesla is doing extremely well in building real-world AI. You know, it's one thing when a current Tesla employee says something like that, and it's an entirely different thing when a former employee says something like that, a former employee who has really nothing at stake here. And Elon replied with cool, basically confirming that Andrej is right, or that Elon agrees with him for sure. And this is where we are getting into the second piece of big news. AI driver noticed that 95% of the indecisive lane changes and braking have been fixed in FSD 14.1.2. I haven't touched my steering wheel in 2 days. I think it's time. And Elon replied with great news saying 14.2 is ready for widespread use. So FSD should be coming to all of us, just mere peasants. And of course, I am celebrating this news. Omar is celebrating because 14.2 will be the one that goes out to everyone. Then Elon announces more good news here. The Tesla cars operating in the Boring Company tunnels under Las Vegas will be driverless in a month or two. Over 4,000 people ride in the Boring Company's Las Vegas Loop tunnel every day. So this will expose a ton of people to FSD that have never experienced it before. Which also means that the entire tunnel fleet will be upgraded to hardware for vehicles and the new Model Y. Only older Model Ys and Model Xs have been used in the tunnels. The whole thing with the tunnels to me was a bit interesting because you would think that probably Tesla would have launched in the tunnels first, right? I mean, it's probably easier to run a Tesla vehicle with FSD unsupervised in a tunnel than it is in Austin City. But I certainly see this as good news. But now that I think about it, it actually makes sense because 4,000 people a day ride in a Tesla vehicle through these tunnels, and that's actually quite a few people. So if something does go wrong, that's quite a lot of people. So it does make sense that Tesla would want to get everything really tightened first, because if, let's say, only 100 people rode in Tesla vehicles through these tunnels, well, okay, it's not really that many people, because you got to remember, at first Tesla started with like, what, 10 robotaxis in Austin. Regardless of whatever is happening, this does show more confidence from Tesla, and I like that. And then we are hearing rumors that FSD 14.1.3 is rolling out to early access users, another DOGE release. I will get into the most critical piece of news for today in just a moment, but first, France says the new Tesla Roadster unveil and demo is still on track for this year, actually. That's interesting. France hinted at the new Roadster having its own complete unique set of paint options. I'm excited to showcase a Roadster for a lot of different reasons. The wait will be worth it. He also said the Roadster will be an amazing car that looks at the limits of physics. We have really gotten to a point where we are going to be achieving that standard that we set out. And then about the standard Model Y, Franz said, I think you get more than what you pay for. I think it feels more premium than the price point, which is $40,000. Also, he pointed out that historically, the pearl white multi-coat is the most popular Tesla color. One of my Teslas is actually white. And then we are getting reports that Tesla is ramping up its hiring for the Cybercab production team. Tesla is looking for a metrology technician, an equipment engineer who will work on Cybercab's plastics team, and a tool and die supervisor. So this is definitely good news, and this vehicle might be released maybe a little bit sooner than some are anticipating. And also there are definitely quite a few opinions that this vehicle could be the affordable $25,000 vehicle, because you can probably put 4 seats on the same platform. The trunk is ginormous. You might need to change the shape of the roof though to accommodate for 4 seats. And now let's get into the most critical piece of news for all of us Tesla stock investors. This one you really need to pay attention to. It's extremely important, and if anything, I am understating the importance of this. It came to my attention when I saw this post from Electric. Elon Musk threatens to leave Tesla if he doesn't get his pay. And all this is coming from this post from Elon Musk, which is a pretty new post just now. Really, Tesla is worth more than all other automotive companies combined. Which of those CEOs would you like to run Tesla? It will not be me. The seriousness of this post cannot be overstated. And that was Elon's reply to this post. If Tesla's market capitalization only reaches $2 trillion within the next 10 years, the proposed pay package would pay the CEO roughly $20 billion for this achievement. This would be roughly 3.8% annual growth from today's shares price, $2 trillion milestone divided by the current market capitalization. That would barely beat inflation, and it would underperform the S&P 500 considerably. Well, how do you know that it would underperform S&P 500? Over a long period of time, yes, we can almost certainly come to that conclusion, but can I say for sure that over this specific time frame it would underperform S&P 500? I cannot. You just look at the last decade from the year roughly 2000, and then you just look 10 years ahead. Yeah, it didn't exactly perform like how he's projecting here. But are the chances that S&P 500 most likely would strongly outperform this? Yes, the chances are towards that direction, absolutely. But he's stating it as a fact here, which is absolutely not true and ridiculous. And then he continues, sorry, Tesla, some of us, and supposedly ISS too, simply don't think that underperforming the S&P 500 this much is worth paying somebody $20 billion worth of company value. Oh, ISS, is that the same one that said to vote against the 2018 compensation package and then Tesla more than 10x, like allow more than 10x? You're going to take advice from these people, really? He continues, as a fan, I love Tesla. I want it to succeed. As a shareholder, I don't want Tesla to overpay for its CEO. I strongly believe that the 2025 pay package proposal would overpay for its CEO, and that other competent CEOs could grow Tesla just as much with way less political drama and cost investors much less than this proposal. And so then the question is, who is going to work on a Tesla bot? I think Elon by far is the number one person, by far the best person in the world to focus on that particular problem. Personally, this post right here from Elon Musk, I believe that this is the most important piece of news this year for all of us Tesla stock investors, because Elon Musk is saying basically, look, if I don't get this compensation package, it will not be me running Tesla. As far as I remember, I don't remember Elon threatening to leave Tesla in the recent past. He did say things like, I would prefer to build AI products or products outside of Tesla if I cannot get 25% control, voting control of Tesla. But I don't remember him saying anything even along the lines of this. So this is extremely serious, and all of you who are Tesla stock investors, you definitely need to vote in this upcoming shareholder vote. And personally, I strongly suggest to vote in favor of Elon's compensation package. Tesla itself here posted about ISS once again completely misses fundamental points of investing and governance. They recommended against compensation that shareholders have voted on twice before and that Elon has already earned, as well as the 2025 CEO Performance Award, where Elon receives nothing unless shareholders win big. ISS's unfounded and nonsensical recommendation against IRA proves how disconnected from reality they are. As Tesla's longest tenured independent director, IRA has created a governance framework that has allowed Tesla to achieve an astonishing TSR increase of 39,000% during his tenure. He embodies our high engagement board with hands-on leadership plus effective governance with a focus on long-term value. It's easy for ISS to tell others how to vote when they have nothing on the line. Vote with Tesla on all proposals. So that post was all about the Tesla board director, IRA. Should we vote against or for? Well, I'm going to vote everything that the Tesla board recommends. I'm going to vote in favor. However, I do want to say that my main issue with the board currently is they said that they started negotiating with Elon about his new compensation package only earlier this year. But Elon has stated in 2024, January, he's not happy with his compensation package, basically, or more specifically, that he wants to have 25% voting control, very clearly threatening to build products outside of Tesla, which later he basically did by not building the $25,000 vehicle, by discontinuing that project officially. If that board would have said, the moment we saw that post from Elon, that's exactly when we started negotiations. If they would have said that, and if the negotiations dragged out so long, okay, I would still not be perfectly happy with that, but I would be okay. Yeah, negotiations dragged out. There was probably some strong disagreements between the board and Elon Musk, and maybe Elon Musk wanted too much. I'm okay with that. But knowing that the negotiations only started this year, so they waited for more than a year to start negotiations, I am definitely absolutely not happy with that. But I will not vote against any board member unless Elon Musk campaigns to vote against. Elon is definitely not afraid to campaign against anyone. So as long as Elon doesn't say, vote against this person, I'm not going to vote against anyone, even if I'm not happy. Because the thing is, if we vote someone out, who are you going to vote in? If it happens to be someone that's hostile to Elon Musk, I think that's probably a worse outcome. I think the current board members are somewhere between neutral and very friendly and positive towards Elon Musk. They are in between that spectrum. There's no one, I hate Elon Musk, or I am negative about Elon Musk. I think there's no one on the Tesla board who thinks that having Elon Musk is a bad idea for Tesla. But if you go with recommendations from people like ISS and Glass Lewis, we might have someone that we really despise of, because some of these people, I think they would love Tesla stock to just collapse completely. Then Sawyer posts, everyone needs to vote their Tesla shares. We must ensure that Tesla's proposals not only pass, but win by a decisive margin. That sends a clear message that these proxy advisory firms have no influence over the outcome and that shareholders stand firmly with the company and with Elon. This was Sawyer's response to this post from Tesla, and I think this is an important post. ISS and Glass Lewis have recommended against Tesla's proposals time and time again since the 2018 CEO Performance Award was introduced. It's a good thing our shareholders ignored those recommendations, otherwise they may have missed out on our market capitalization soaring by 20x from March 2018 to August 2025. Now, Glass Lewis has followed ISS and issued another misguided recommendation that again disregards the fundamental purpose of public companies and who they serve, the shareholders, not political interests. These firms do not own Tesla. You do. We all do. The Tesla shareholders. The shortcomings of these proxy advisors are echoed by state and federal officials who are scrutinizing ISS's and Glass Lewis's practices, including by implementing laws that require that their recommendations be based on the financial interests of shareholders, implying a failure to do so in the past and presently. And that they definitely are referring to Tesla stock there. Shareholders have spoken twice on Elon's 2018 CEO Performance Award. ISS's and Glass Lewis's recommendations attempt to override the mandate our shareholders delivered to Elon and ignore the staggering financial results delivered under Elon's leadership, elevating their rigid policies over shareholder value. Glass Lewis's recommendations on Ira and Kathleen are indefensible. Oh, so there's another director that they don't want us to elect. Ira continues to drive major growth, having built an effective and tailored governance regime and brings effective and tailored governance regime. Let me think. Effective? I agree with effective. Tailored governance regime? I think I agree with tailored governance regime. For a moment, I thought I read independent, which I never thought that the Tesla board members are truly independent. And I think personally, that's a positive, not a negative. Post continues here, and brings technical rigor to Tesla's toughest product and strategy calls. Kathleen has been a part of two of the most transparent governance processes in modern-day corporate America and brings decades of legal, operating, compensation, human capital, and management expertise critical to winning the AI talent war. Vote yes to robots, not robotic voting. Vote with Tesla on all proposals. But also, this is where another issue that I have with the board comes up. If they really are not independent, then wouldn't they have just started working on the compensation package on the new one in 2014 when Elon Musk made that post? I think it would be very reasonable to make that argument, but they didn't, at least according to what they themselves said when they started working on the compensation package. But I am still not convinced that the board is independent. However, what I am convinced of is that the board is trying to appear independent. And I don't blame them because they settled here. A Tesla board that gave itself nearly $1 billion in excess compensation must now return the money. This was 2025. January, and then basically right after that, they started working on Elon's compensation package. And yes, it was a settlement. Right here it says settlement. So I find the timing rather interesting. They settle out of court. And then they start working on, well, officially working on Elon's compensation package. If I was to guess the actual reason why they didn't supposedly officially start working on Elon's new compensation package, it was because they were afraid of lawsuits. I think that's the actual reason, most likely. And if you were Elon, you're facing, maybe you face a few dilemmas here. Number one, his campaign against the board members and basically replace all of them, because then they would actually start working on the new compensation package without delay, and they wouldn't be afraid of lawsuits probably because there's no set precedent specifically with these people. But then Elon would risk not getting the compensation package that he would actually want because these people might actually be more independent. Versus, okay, you have the current board and there are lawsuits. And before this lawsuit finishes, they don't want to really work on the new compensation package because they don't want to be sued again. Now, the lawsuit that they settled out of court is not exactly directly related to Elon's compensation package, but regardless, it was a lawsuit, and it was a big lawsuit, I think, for the board members. I mean, $1 billion was returned, and these guys are not billionaires, most of them. Now, this whole thing about Elon's compensation was based on a Reuters report from last week, which noted that with business as usual and a market capitalization growth below the S&P 500, Musk could still receive one or even two tranches of his compensation package worth between 20 and 40 billion. But the thing that they failed to understand is that there's no easy goal really to achieve. The only easy thing, relatively easy, that would happen pretty much without doing anything, as long as Tesla just doesn't completely collapse, 20 million vehicles delivered in total. Tesla is at a pretty decent number already. Tesla produces, very roughly speaking, 2 million vehicles a year, and Tesla has produced already millions of vehicles, so this would just happen basically by default. However, the market cap value would not happen by default. Just because you deliver this many vehicles, it doesn't mean that you will actually be valued at 2 trillion. I mean, if we hired someone like, I don't know, Mary Barra, probably the stock would immediately drop 70%, because, you know, she would only work on vehicles and not on any tech. Or even if she did work on tech, that tech might just collapse. She is, I believe, that talented that she could literally just somehow make FSD not work, even though it's almost done. Looking at other goals, because it's not enough just to hit the market cap goal, you also need to hit one of the operational milestones, and 10 million active full self-driving subscriptions, that's very hard to do. You think Mary Barra can do this? I don't think so. I don't know. 1 million bots delivered, you think that's easy to do? That's very hard to do. 1 million robot taxis in operation, you think that's easy to do? Definitely not easy to do. 50 billion adjusted EBITDA, you think that's easy to do? If Elon Musk reaches 50 billion in EBITDA, oh, that's great. And then 4 trillion the market cap, is this worth 140 billion to us Tesla shareholders? Yes. So the only somewhat easy thing to do, and it's not really even easy, it's you still need to maintain the market cap of Tesla, which, you know, it has fluctuated by a lot. If you remember, Tesla stock in 2022 end of December, dropped to about $100 per share, and the market cap was not exactly very, very high at that point. So anyone saying that, oh, all Elon needs to do just to achieve these easy to achieve goals to just sit back and do nothing, are you out of your mind? Maybe this first thing is not that difficult, but you still need to maintain the market cap. You still need to rally the shareholders for potential investors that, look, there's a future, I can do it. And Elon Musk has the track record of doing the impossible over and over and over again, electrifying the whole auto industry, unlike, you know, Mary Barra, which Biden said electrified the entire industry, to quote him. And then full self-driving, we see that in front of our eyes. I can sit in my hardware Ford Tesla today, and in Texas, it's not unusual for me to get in my car, drop a destination that's, let's say, an hour and a half away, through city roads, not easy roads, and then not having to intervene at all throughout the entire drive. That is not unusual to me. And that's with version 13 of FSD. Version 14 is supposedly a lot better from everything that I've seen. So Elon Musk has done that. He has achieved all these amazing things with SpaceX, putting rockets into space, reusable rockets, but not just any rockets, the biggest rockets ever that governments have not been able to launch. and then have them come back in a reusable form. He has been able to do it over and over again now. So they are only focused on this one tiny thing here. And anything beyond this one thing is actually absolutely exceptional. It's things that have not been done yet. Like the vehicle thing, okay, that will, you just wait and it will basically be done. But everything else, you have to push the envelope. You'll have issues that Elon Musk can definitely solve, but I would not have a lot of confidence if it was someone else. And with this pay, so 8.2 billion pay, we still get an increase in market cap. So I'm still happy with this. And really, Elon Musk has gone through so much complete BS that even if I somehow thought that he's not worth this 8.2 billion here, by the way, I think he is worth it. But even if I thought he's not worth it, this would just be my way of thank you, Elon, for staying with Tesla and also buying Twitter and doing your work there. I appreciate that very, very much. Thank you. And maybe you actually oppose that. Maybe you didn't like that. Even as a Tesla shareholder, then I would say, well, you stayed with Tesla and you want to stay with Tesla. And I don't think I couldn't think of a better person to lead Tesla at this moment to take it to as much as $8.5 trillion in market cap. I don't know who else would be better. And he has gone through so much BS with the previous compensation package being rescinded. Elon, this is just my way of thanking you. If you can just get to 2 trillion here, 20 million vehicles delivered. Some say it's so easy. I don't think it's easy. As in, you still need to keep the market cap value, because if all you do is just deliver these vehicles without doing anything else, you are not going to get to 2 trillion in market cap, because no car company is worth that much. If you are worth that much money, you are a lot more than just a car company. So that's why I think it's actually not easy for a regular CEO to achieve. Because with Elon Musk, you already assume you get all of these other things. With Mary Barra, what do you get? You get a company that's worth how much? Well, I'm glad you asked, because it's not even 5% of Tesla. Okay, I think my math is right? It's under 5%, I think. And look, it's not like Mary Barra just became the CEO of GM. She's been the CEO for 11 years, and she had all the time to move the company in any direction that she wanted to move it towards. Now, I think we could find a better CEO than Mary Barra. That's not exactly a very high bar that we're speaking of here, but I really don't think there's anyone else that's better to take Tesla to something like 8 trillion in market cap. Now, is it also possible in some unlikely event that there might be Elon Musk meeting that $2 trillion tranche and then the 20 million vehicles delivered in total and basically nothing else? Is it possible that's all that could happen? A very small possibility, yes. But I think the likelihood of only that happening is so low that is absolutely definitely worth the risk. These people from Reuters and these people from ISS and Glass Lewis, these people, they have no skin in the game. And clearly they are enemies of Elon, and clearly they want to hurt Elon. So even if it makes sense for us shareholders, they will still advocate against Elon. So we have to use our head. And my personal conclusion is, if you vote against this compensation package, you're basically hitting your own head on the wall if you are a Tesla shareholder. And I can tell you, as someone who owns a clinic, so I'm an expert at this, I can conclude without a shadow of a doubt that hitting your head against the wall is a bad idea. So please don't do it. And now, I gotta say to all of you guys, there are two people that I respect the most when it comes to FSD opinions and stuff like that. One is AI Driver. Absolutely amazing YouTube channel. Very good. And number two is James Dama. And they might be, I think they're just very different, but they are equally as good. They're just very different. And so here is James Dama saying, FSD can see more than you can. Black-clad pedestrians crossing unlit streets, sunny day, shadows hiding road debris, the outline of a stopped car in a gray foggy downpour, a stop sign with the sun behind it, a dirty windscreen. This stuff is easier for the car than it is for us. And beyond seeing things, FSD's perception exceeds ours as well. It judges speeds and positions more quickly and more precisely. It can identify and track objects at greater distance. It pays attention to hundreds of things at the same time and in all directions at once. It has faster reflexes and knows precisely how fast its reflexes are. It never gets distracted. It never even blinks. Now, Omar just gave his opinion here. This is from October 18th, so I think Friday, right? A lot of Tesla fans are very upset with me for recommending that Tesla wait before replacing FSD V13 with 14. I have no problem with hardcore FSD fans, pro users who really want to test the latest FSD having 14 if they understand and accept that it won't be quite as polished as V13. When I talk about it being ready to go wide or replace 13, I'm not talking about those people. I would support them expanding the beta to anyone who wants to help beta test it. But for the masses, your average users, our moms and dads, it's important that Tesla craft an experience where the self-driving system is always getting better with minimal to no regressions along the way. The masses don't care about having the latest and greatest this week instead of next week. Only early adopters and fans do. Almost everyone else wants to be able to rely on their self-driving software, and that means making sure that 14 is as smooth and comfortable as 13 with no functional regressions and no new features acting up, and no over-cautiousness and unneeded braking compared to FSD V13. I think Tesla is making the right moves in that regard. I personally definitely 100% agree with Omar, and personally for me as an everyday FSD user, that's what I personally would prefer. I want my software to be better in every regard that I get it. Now, as a Tesla stock investor, I do want to see the earlier versions, but not for my personal use, just more, oh, okay, it is actually better and it actually works better, except for these little bugs, which are definitely easily fixable. But as a user, personally, I only want the version that's going to actually overall be more usable, less annoying. The annoying factor is the important factor for me. And V14.2 is going to be that version that's going to be smooth as butter. And V13, Sawyer says, set the bar for smoothness and comfortability. The reason most Tesla owners were okay with waiting such a long time for the next major FSD update was because of how good FSD V13.2.9 was. And then Sawyer says, trust me, FSD V14 will be worth the wait. It shouldn't be too much longer. Tesla has been cooking with these quick updates. Yeah, they have been really quick with these last few updates. All right, then someone filmed Tesla FSD driving around New York City for 2 hours, and Elon even posted this. And then Farzad said, anyone who thinks Tesla has not solved self-driving with a $35,000 mass-produced car, please watch that video. We have seen quite a few videos from New York City earlier, and oh, it backs. Wait, it's backing up? Oh, it's because there's a bicycle and it knew to back up. I'm very impressed. This is my first time seeing this, by the way. I'm watching this just as you are. And this is definitely quite impressive. So this is like 2 hours of this, basically. I'm pretty impressed. And yeah, quite a few very positive comments about this. Certainly, Tesla is making a lot of progress with FSD. And then Joe spotted a Cybercab testing on public roads near Giga Texas. So not in the factory area, but public roads. And this is a pretty notable thing. Unfortunately, Australia 60 Minutes just aired a 30-minute hit piece on Tesla FSD. Oh, remember ISS? Elon said, Elon called them. I think if I say this word, I might be at risk of YouTube like shadow banning my video. I don't know. So, but you can clearly read it and you know what he means. And then about the Tornado appeal tape, Larry Goldberg spent quite a bit of time working on this whole thing, and his conclusion is that basically the court is likely to reverse or remand on rescission or ratification, potentially limiting the fee award to account for replacement costs. In Australia, you can now subscribe to Tesla FSD for 149 Australian dollars per month. And then we got Q3 Tesla Consensus, which is now out. This is the Q3 IR compiled consensus for next Wednesday earnings. So this Wednesday, actually, very soon. Wall Street consensus is 59 cents, and it will be a very interesting earnings call. I think this one, I will definitely be on the earnings call, and I will listen to the earnings call. I don't know if this Wednesday I will put out a video because I will be paying attention to the earnings call. Maybe there's a small chance maybe I will do a live stream of me listening to the earnings call. Maybe I will just do that. And then the next video, if there's huge news tomorrow, I will make a video tomorrow. If there's no huge news tomorrow, then the next video probably I will make it on Thursday. And then Tesla is dominating the UK mega battery market, so that's good. And here's an interesting chart. Pause if you would like to take a look. And Elon got into a little debate over this comment. My estimate, the probability of Grok 5 achieving AGI is now at 10% and rising. And someone who works at OpenAI took a shot at Elon. 10% chance Elon declare he reached AGI a fourth time. Well, Elon snaps back and he doesn't mince his words. You can call you call yourself a researcher pathetic. Then there's another reply to Elon. It would be important to clarify which definition of AGI Elon Musk is using. Elon says, capable of doing anything a human with a computer can do, but not smarter than all humans and computers combined. That's probably 3 to 5 years away. So there's definitely an interesting conversation going on here. And Grok 5 will also learn almost immediately. And then, as we all have heard before, Elon Musk is actually working on a Grokipedia, basically a better version of Wikipedia. And I personally believe that Tesla stock is going to $1,000 per share. And actually, I will be updating that price target. Make sure to follow me on X, which is where I will post it. There's a link down below in the description, as well as in the pinned comment. And I will be back with another video either tomorrow or Wednesday. Wednesday, not very likely. Maybe Thursday is probably the most likely outcome, unless on Wednesday I do a live stream of the earnings. That might actually happen. So I'll see you sometime very soon, for sure. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.